With the conclusion of the first volume of Boruto to Blue Vortex, we have been given some extra information about the series as a whole. But more importantly, we have been given information about the Otsutsukis, and to be specific, about the Otsutsuki gods, and their involvement in the creation of the universe. So right here, I present you with the extra pages that has been given to us explaining omnipotence and also mentioning Otsutsuki gods. Let's first break down the text regarding the omnipotence. We have an explanation of what happened between Boruto, Kawaki, and Ada. Ada used her omnipotence by unconsciously tapping into Kawaki's desires at the time. Ida, who loved Kawaki, wanted to help Kawaki in some sort of way, which is why she flew and put herself in harm's way to find a way to help Kawaki out. During their conversation and Kawaki's monologue, Kawaki's desire for Boruto to become an outsider so that nobody would care if Kawaki killed him became quite evident. And the rest is history, as in an epic turn of events, Kawaki and Boruto's life were reversed. This is the piece of information that we already knew just by reading the chapter. However, when we continue reading, we are given various hints about various Otsutsuki gods, plural, and a possible heartbreaking backstory that Ida may potentially have. The text that you see right here is the best translation that I could find. Obviously, it still has mistakes, so I will read it in the most accurate way possible. The official volume has not come out in English, so it is still in Japanese, but we have had other translators translate this piece of text. So here we have the text right here. Divine power of omnipotence and fate reversal. The divine power that dwells inside Ada. Omnipotence. It is said that an Otsutsuki who once became God used this technique to create the current world/universe. It is the ultimate power that manifests any idea. However, since it is a power that can only be wielded by an Otsutsuki, Ida is unable to control it. Ida's current ability only consists of unconscious manifestations of her latent desires. If you pay close attention to the wording of omnipotence, you would see that there is quite some similarities between this god and the biblical God, the one that we see in the Bible, the Torah, and other various texts. As Momoshiki literally tells us that God, the Otsutsuki god, used it in the process of creating the world and universe as we see it. And according to some translators, Viz Media cut out some parts of the Japanese text that was referring to the Genesis, the same one that we see in the Bible. And Ida's ability of using her Sharingan is quite similar of that of the biblical God, as the biblical God is able to be at any place at all times, meaning that he is omnipresent. And if you check Ida's Sharingan ability, it allows her to send her consciousness anywhere she would like, just like the way she used her Sharingan to spy on the Shinshu. In addition, the biblical God is also omniscient, meaning that he knows all things, and similarly, Ida is able to go back to past events and know everything that took place. Obviously, there are some limitations, like she is not able to see what happened before she was born, but other Otsutsuki gods like Shibai's and others that we just don't know about do not have this same limitation. We can already see some of the similarities between Otsutsuki gods and the biblical God that we know. However, it is quite important not to confuse the gods that are being mentioned in this text to Shibai Otsutsuki. Some people find it quite confusing, saying that Shibai is the god that created everything, but yet he had to ascend by consuming chakra from planets that he created. This is kind of backwards, but that's only if you are taking the interpretation that they are referring to Shibai. But it is quite evident that this is not the case, because if they were referring to Shibai, they would simply have named it, as Shibai Otsutsuki has already been named in the manga. Kishimoto revealed his name in chapter 75. So if he was talking about Shibai Otsutsuki, he would have simply stated so. But he talked about gods with no name. So this has to be the first god that created everything that we have seen today, that we see today in the Naruto, Boruto universe, and other universes potentially. And the potential of there being various other Otsutsukis is quite clear, as Momoshiki asks Boruto if he wondered how many times the memories of mankind have been tampered with. It was by the hands of various Otsutsukis who became gods. This all hints that there are many Otsutsukis who became gods, which lets us know that there are other gods apart from Shiba Otsutsuki's, some that came before him and potentially some that came after Shiba Otsutsuki. So this is how I personally interpret things, and you may think that it's more of a theory and it is not confirmed, but to me this is the most plausible way of interpreting things. There was a god who through omnipotence created all things that we see in the universe. It is likely that Otsutsukis are his direct descendants, which is why they can evolve and reach the same state by eating various different chakra fruits. This is what Shiba Otsutsuki's and other Otsutsuki's who became gods did to reach this similar state. Some did the same thing that Ida did to Kawaki and Boruto, which is why Momoshiki tells Boruto that the memories of mankind have been tampered with in the past. This is personally how I choose to interpret things, and this is how it makes the most sense for me. However, this text doesn't only hint at Otsutsuki gods, but it also hints at Ida having a quite intriguing and potentially sad past, because why is it that she desires that everyone should fall in love with her subconsciously? Obviously, it is natural for someone to want at least one person to fall in love with them, but the love that Ida seems to unconsciously desire seems to be quite unnatural and obsessive, and it could hint at her having some past trauma and a very dark background. This is my own theory, but I could definitely see Ida and Damien having a very sad backstory, potentially involving their parent or something completely different. But all of this really tells me one thing, and that is that Ida's future in the village and just in the world in general is coming to an end soon. Because you have to think about it, Ida is a cyborg that has omnipotence. We just have to pray that the Otsutsuki clan doesn't find out about Ida's existence, because if they do, this will cause problems. Because the amount of Ida, a 16-year-old girl, I don't know how old she is in the time skip, it should probably be 19, around that age. But it is quite alarming that Ida, who is not an Otsutsuki by birth, she has the power of the gods. And I do not think that the Otsutsuki clan, such a prideful clan, will allow something like this, will allow a threat like Ida to be alive. We have Code, who allowed the Ten Tails to evolve instead of using the Ten Tails to evolve himself. This is already an abomination. And now we also have Boruto and Kawaki, who are new Otsutsuki. They are not Ishiki or Momoshiki like the karma was intended to work. No, we have two new Otsutsukis that have been created by the mistakes of Momoshiki and Ishiki. And now we also have Ida, a 19-year-old girl who has the power of the gods, the same power that was used to create the universe as we know it. There is no way that the Otsutsuki let this come to be, and I am very scared for the future of the planet. And this dark theme is very much expressed by Kishimoto himself, as he literally has a message in this chapter telling us to gear up for what is about to happen in the future. This is Kishimoto's message. The final chapter has finally arrived, and we are now diving headfirst into the youth arc. The subtitle to Blue Vortex has been shortened to TB. We're starting off where we left off in volume 1. Some may say, oh, there's one volume out, let me take a look. But if you're one of those people who are exclaimed saying, wait a minute, is this a continuation of Naruto Next Generation Volume 1? I am sorry to say that this isn't the case. The main story continues from NNG. NNG is Boruto Naruto Next Generation, for those who don't know, the so-called youth arc. For those who are unfamiliar with it, feel free to check it out. Or better yet, just enjoy the ride while imagining past events. But once you start reading, you might find yourself more curious about what happens next than what has happened before. Brace yourself for what is about to take place. So we can clearly see that we're going to be diving into some pretty dark things that are going to happen, because it is going to be even more interesting than what happened to Boruto in chapter 79. So I am ready for it. And just a few clarifications, Kishimoto in past interviews and Kishimoto were referring to a dark moment that was going to happen. Everything was going to be happy in the beginning and they were going to have a twist, and that's why they showed us the scene of Boruto and Kawaki in the first chapter and episode of Boruto. But now the dark twist is taking place as the story moves from the happy-go-lucky theme that it had in part 1 to a more darker theme as things do not look good. This is where Boruto's story truly begins, as Naruto and Sasuke have been sealed and are out of the story, and the only one who can make sure that the Leaf Village and Naruto and Sasuke's legacy is kept up is Boruto and Sarada. So we will see what would actually end up happening. And also, Kishimoto referred to this as the youth arc. Some of you guys might interpret this as the name of the arc, but some Japanese people on Twitter have said that we should just see this as Kishimoto saying Boruto Shippuden, as in Boruto TBV, as we are seeing right now. It is not really the name of an arc. It's more like saying Boruto's timeskip or Boruto Shippuden. It is referring to a different part of the story where people are in their youth arc, not in the child arc that they were in the past in Boruto Part 1, but in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, they are in their youth arc. Boruto is 15, Kawaki is 16 or 17, and Ida is 19. That's what the Japanese people on Twitter are saying that it is referring to. I am not Japanese myself, so I can't confirm it, but if you are Japanese watching this video, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. However, this isn't the only new pieces of information that we are given. As accompanied with Chapter 7 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we have a special edition of V-Jump where Boruto is given his database. And the database section, it seems like it's a bit similar to the data book that we used to get for Naruto, but now it is called the database, which will be always available in the Naruto and Boruto official site. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely end up going there. But this is the information that is given. 3 years after the Great Celestial Disturbance, we analyze the combat and capabilities of Boruto and his friends. Boruto Uzumaki, the shinobi who bears the fate of this world. So right now we know that this is going to be sort of Boruto's nickname. We know the characters like Madara were referred to as the ghost of the Uchiha, and we have Boruto who is referred to as the shinobi who bears the fate of this world. So if everything is going to go in the right direction, it is going to be through Boruto, and if it doesn't, it's also going to be Boruto's fault. We can see that Boruto has a lot of responsibility now that we know that Sasuke and Naruto have been packed up and sealed in some various way. Sasuke with him being a tree, and Naruto with him being sealed in the Daikokoden dimension. Uzumaki Boruto, a shinobi, is being hunted down by Konoha after he and Kawaki had their positions reversed. Through training and his master Sasuke, who left the village with him, he has acquired a variety of powerful jutsu. Rasengan Uzuhiko, Planetary Chakra, a new Rasengan that incorporates its rotation. The power of rotation rushes through the target's body and continues to inflict damage semi-permanently unless the caster, Boruto, deactivates it. Uzuhiko is a very broken ability, and it's very intentional that they deactivated it with Code, or Code would have simply died. And it does end up meaning that Code will come back into the story, whether you like it or not, and definitely he will come back with that Kishimoto update into his character. When Code ends up coming back and when Code is redeemed into the story, it's going to be amazing. But this Rasengan Uzuhiko, it does mention planetary chakra, and this simply means that the chakra that is being used for this Uzuhiko, the nature chakra, it seems like is planetary, which is why it is in the name, planetary chakra. Boruto is taking chakra from the planet and using it against his opponent. He used it and incorporated it into his Rasengan, which is why it is now called Rasengan Uzuhiko. I probably messed up the name, but you guys already get what I mean. But now the question is, does this mean that this Rasengan is planetary level just based off the name? No and yes at the same time. So first of all, planetary chakra, just it being into the name, doesn't necessarily mean that the ability will be at a planetary level, but due to us having the size of the Naruto planet, as Kishimoto has already drawn the Naruto planet completely, and being able to see that, we can already create calculations of just how strong Rasengan Uzuhiko is. The Naruto planet has been calced multiple times at around large planetary levels of chakra. So, the Rasengan Uzuhiko, which incorporates the planet's chakra, comes at around small planetary levels of AP. But that's not even the main part of this jutsu. The main part of this jutsu is that it is semi-permanent, which means that this effect that the opponent feels when it is initially being used is continuously being felt over and over and over again until Boruto decides to deactivate it. If we go off the Boruto planet being the same size as the normal Earth, this feat would be around moon level, and because the Naruto planet is a lot larger than Earth, it is why it comes to around small planetary level. But here is one of the most important parts of this section. We see Uchiha style Kenjutsu. A lot of people were mentioning what is meant by Boruto learning Uchiha style. What is meant by this? This is what they meant by Uchiha style. Boruto has mastered the Uchiha way of using his sword / Kenjutsu. This is what Boruto has been showing throughout these different chapters. And this is why at times you see Boruto using one hand like Sasuke would, because this is the Uchiha type of fighting style that Boruto has developed. Even though he has two arms, he sometimes just uses one of his arms to deal with his opponents. As this is what the text says, a unique style of swordmanship steadily honed by Sasuke, specialized in quick draw attacks that slices through multiple enemies at once, as well as imbuing the blade with chakra to enhance its cutting power. This is very important. Not only do we know that Boruto's main abilities and the best way he uses his sword is to do his quick draws attack and slice through multiple enemies. We've seen this in chapter 2 of Boruto to Blue Vortex. We see him fighting multiple Kagurams and using one swing of a sword to deal with multiple Kagurams at once. But the most important part of this text is the fact that it mentions that the blade is imbued with chakra to enhance its cutting power. This means that characters in the Naruto series are not just sword level. Your sword is a direct reflection of your power level / chakra reserve. So the more chakra and the stronger you are, the better your swordsmanship. And that's why characters like Naruto can still be damaged with swords. It is because their swords reflect their true abilities, because they can imbue their chakra to enhance their cutting power. So this officially means that Naruto being stabbed with that sword by Shin Uchiha, it doesn't mean that the Naruto verse is capped at swords level. That's not what it means. This confirms it. We also get some text about flying thunder god technique that Boruto has learned how to use. The space-time ninjutsu mastered by the 4th Hokage instantly teleports the user to its designated coordinates. We got some more information on Boruto. Boruto's birthday is the 20th of March. His favorite foods are hamburgers, fries, cola, extremely spicy foods. That's the only thing I didn't know. We all know that Boruto loves going to Thunder Burger or whatever the name of the shop is called. So obviously he likes hamburgers, fries, and colas, but I never knew that he liked spicy food. This is some very cool information about Boruto. In the next few pages, we get even more information now about Sarada, Kawaki, Sumire, Mitsuki, Hima, and Shikamaru, and they don't have as much information as Boruto, but they still got some pretty interesting information. Starting off with Sarada, the heir to the Uchiha, resisting the great celestial disaster. Sasuke's only daughter, who is somehow immune to the great cataclysm and retains her memories. She persists, opposing the village retaliation's orders against Boruto, and remains at the rank of Genin. This confirms it again. Sarada is a Genin. I don't know what will end up happening in the anime, because in the anime she's a Chunin, but it could be likely that because of all the things that she has said against people like Kawaki and saying that Boruto, who everybody believes killed Naruto, defending a person like Boruto may have caused her to lose her rank as Chunin. Sarada possesses the Jidori, which is a high-speed thrust infused with concentrated chakra, the lethal strike passed down by her father. The Chidori obviously is different from the lightning blade. Sasuke developed the Chidori through inspiration from Kakashi's lightning blade. We get a character profile with Sarada's birthday being March 29th. Her favorite foods are black tea and flavored food. I don't even know what that means, but yeah, this is the information we get regarding Sarada. Now Kawaki, we get some pretty interesting information about Kawaki. It says apostle of Otsutsuki destruction / annihilation. This is what Kawaki's nickname seems to be. We have, due to switching places with Boruto, he now lives as the son of the 7th Hokage. He inherited Otsutsuki Ishiki's powers through karma and can freely use Shinjutsu. Daiko Koden, the ability to store people and things in a dimension where time doesn't flow. Sukuna Hikonen, a Shinjutsu unique to Otsutsuki Ishiki that allows him to instantly shrink matter he sees with his left eye. It can shrink non-living things, including ninjutsu and shinjutsu made from chakra. This is very interesting, and I don't know if you guys realize this point that these guys made, but they said that Sukuna Hikonen is a Shinjutsu unique to Otsutsuki Ishiki. But they didn't say this about the Daiko Koden ability that allows a person to store people and things in a dimension that doesn't flow. This may mean that Daiko Koden is not an ability that is only unique to Otsutsuki Ishiki. It can mean that other Otsutsukis also have this ability, and it could also mean that even though Jura doesn't have Ishiki's dojutsu, he may be able to access this dimension. That's potentially what it means, since they didn't say that this ability was unique to Ishiki Otsutsuki. This is just a theory. I don't know if it's true, but I do know for sure that they're going to find some way of having Jura go to that dimension. Kawaki's birthday is May 13th, and his favorite food is takoyaki. I hope I said it right, but I probably didn't. The next one is Mitsuki, and it says the dark moon embracing Kawaki. He targets Boruto's life for the sake of Kawaki, formerly Boruto's best friend. Uzumaki Himawari, Naruto and Hinata's daughter. She's training hard as a shinobi under the Inoshikacho trio. So it confirms that Hima is training with Team 10 and is not training with any of the Hyuga. Some people had a lot of problem with this on Twitter, but I have no issue. And her kind of nickname is the budding leaf chasing two brothers. The next one is Sumire Kagaki, the sharp-minded aspiring scientist. Like Sarada, she retained her memories. She is a member of the scientific ninja tool team. Shikamaru Nara, serving as the acting Hokage, though his official appointment as the 8th Hokage is pending. The active Hokage, running Konoha. This is all the information that we are presented with, and I really like the fact that they did this. They should definitely be continuing to do this over time, but this is why you have to watch this video right here to find out exactly how Boruto trained to get this strong.